Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. My name is Gail Snyder. I'm the Executive Director for Dementia Friendly Fort Worth, and we are proud to offer this program in conjunction with funding through the University of North Texas Health Science Center. I'd like to remind you that this is a recorded session so that it can be used at later dates. And today I'd like to introduce to you a brand new presenter, Dee Moland, who is the Life Enrichment Director for James L. West Center for Dementia Care. And she is going to talk to us about painting on scenery canvas. Dee, we're ready for you to take it away.
All right. Hi, guys. My name is Dee, and I'll be demonstrating the canvas activity for you all today. I have all of my tools right here in front of me, and I'm ready to go. So the name of this activity is called Scenery Canvas, and I'll specifically be using pastel colors today for this particular activity. So here I have a few examples of some I just kind of did on my own. That's a scenery of the beach. And then I also have the Moonlight Fairy. And then I also have Moonlight in Mountains. So I've been kind of practicing and I've gotten pretty good at it. All right, so I'm gonna go over a few of the supplies that I'm using today, starting with our 8x8 canvas panel. This canvas panel is, it's pretty sturdy and it's 100% cotton. So the cotton is really good with pastel. You have some that are not 100% cotton, but the ones that are 100% cotton are very good for pastel colors. Of course, I'll be using my pastel colors. And then I also have here a 10B graphite pencil and a 8B graphite pencil. The centimeters are different, of course. The 10B is a lot larger than the 8B. I use this as a blender to blend my colors in small areas. We're also going to be using masking tape. The masking tape is going to serve as a placeholder, and it's also going to serve as my moon for my activity. As well as the cup. I'll be using the cup to kind of shape my moon out with my masking tape. And I'll be using this Tree of Life stencil. Now, I'm not going to use the full entire stencil, but I am going to use the branches of this stencil. So we're just going to halfen that out and we'll just use half of it. I also have my scissors on hand, and I also have my paper towels on hand for blending. All right, so before we start, we'll want to place our canvas to exactly where we want it. You're going to use your masking tape to kind of create a frame for your canvas. And this, like I said, the masking tape will also serve as a placeholder. So you'll use this masking tape and you'll just go around your canvas. Of course, making sure your lines are as straight as you want them to be. I'm not really good at straight lines, guys, but I'm going to try my best here. And you'll put masking tape on all four sides, making sure that it's going to stick to the table how you need it to stick, because when you do get to the blending part of this activity, you have to use a lot of pressure. All right. A little piece right here. Okay. All right, so the thing with scenery canvas is, depending on which type of scenery you will be using or you would want to use, most of the time you start off with your lighter colors first, and then you go over those with your darker colors, so you kind of level them out. So for the scenery I'll be doing today, I'll be doing a moonlight scenery. So I'll use my purple and my blue. And then I also will use my black to do my base for my tree. Okay, so I'm just gonna start here and I'm gonna kind of make a mark where I want my ground to go. So I'll just kind of trace over that area where I want my ground to begin. All right, so I created me a little road and I'm just gonna color that in. So the thing with oil pastel colors are you can do them in lighter realms or you can do them in darker realms. I prefer to have my colors a tad bit darker. So I put a little bit more pressure on my canvas when I'm using pastel colors. If you want a lighter color, you'll just lightly go over your canvas and kind of scribble your way in. You want to make sure that you're going against the masking tape to ensure that your frame, it turns out exactly how you want it to turn out. All right. So again, guys, I'm kind of going over it a little bit. I want my ground to be pitch dark. So I'm using a little bit more pressure than normal. Okay. So now that I've created my ground, I'm going to go back to my lighter colors. So the thing with the moonlight scenery is that you have two dark colors. When you look at the sky, you know, you see the purple first and you see the blue. So I'm going to start with purple first rather than blue. So I'm going to start right above where I left off with my ground area, and I'm just going to color that in. Give it a little bit of a pressure, a little bit pressure. I like my colors dark, guys. Dark and lovely. And guys, this when you're doing your scenery canvases, you don't have to necessarily scribble in a certain way because you're going to blend those colors. So no matter how you scribble it on there, you're going to blend those colors. There's not a specific way to scribble the pastel colors on there. All right, so I'm going to make sure I go against my masking tape. And guys, pastel colors can be very messy as well. They leave behind a lot of residue. So I'm going to give you a few helpful tricks to get around that as well when you're blending your colors. All right, so I'm going to go with my last color. Well, no, first, let's go ahead and create our moon. So I'm going to go for a kind of regular sized moon. So I'm going to use the bottom of my plastic cup. Now, I'm going to use this masking tape to cover the bottom of my plastic cup. Just kind of cover it. Stick it on there. And like I said, I'm going to use this to serve as my moon. I'll show you guys as soon as I get the bottom of the cup covered. Okay, so as you guys can see, I just kind of taped the masking tape at the bottom of the cup. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my scissors to cut around the tape to be the bottom of the cup, the shape of the bottom of the cup. So I'll have a perfect moon. Well, maybe not perfect, guys, but I'm shooting for the stars. Okay, there we go. I have my perfect moon. Now, you're just going to peel that masking tape off the bottom of your cup. And you're going to place it wherever you desire your moon to be on your canvas. So I'm going to place mine here on this side. And you just press it down. Later on, you will be removing this masking tape that serves as your moon. Okay, now we can resume back to our pastel coloring. So I'm going to take my blue now, and I'm going to go over that last little area that I have. And I'm just going to go in and make sure that I've got it nice and dark. Making sure I get around that masking tape area to ensure that my frame is perfect and straight. And guys, don't be afraid to scribble over that masking tape. It's down and it's pretty stable, so scribble around it if you have to, and make sure you trace around that moon very good so you can get that nice circular shape. All right, so I think I got it as dark as I want it, guys. All right. Okay, so now begins the fun part. So now we take a paper towel or a piece of paper towel, and you want to fold it as small as you can get it. So I'm going to just halfen that, and I'm going to fold this down as small as I can. Okay, so see, guys? All right, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take the butt end of this, and I'm just going to use it to kind of spread out my black first. So again, guys, my black serves as my ground or my base, and I'm going to use this paper towel to just make sure I blend in that black. So you're just going to apply a little pressure and just kind of scribble around with your paper towel. Okay. So once I get my ground how I want it to, as dark as I want it to, or like I said, you guys can use lighter colors if you'd like. All right. Okay, so now I've got my black scribbled around how I want it. Making sure I go against the sides of the masking tape again, just to ensure that my frame is perfectly straight. Okay, now this is one of those tips. So now that I'm going to my second color to blend, like I said, pastel colors can get a tad bit messy. So what I like to do is I like to place a piece of paper towel over the area that I previously blended, just to ensure that my colors are not mixing and I'm not kind of dragging the extra wax around. So I'll just place the paper towel over my black, and I'll proceed to fold another piece of paper to start blending my purple. And again, you'll do this, the same rules will apply with the purple. You'll fold your paper towel until it's small, and you'll apply a little pressure to kind of scribble that purple into your canvas. Apply a little pressure. Make sure you guys are getting around that where the masking tape is, again, to ensure that your lines are perfect. All right, so I have now blended my purple. Now, I am now going to take another piece of paper towel just to blend my purple and my blue. So again, we're using separate pieces of paper towel to blend because you don't want to blend too much of one color. Sometimes if a color is darker than the other, it'll overtake the other. So you don't want to use the same paper towel to blend one color with all of your colors. Okay, so now I'm going to take this piece of paper towel and I'm going to stick in between the blue and the purple. And I'm going to kind of use a circular motion to kind of work those colors into each other. All right, making sure I get against the grain, making sure that there's not too much blue in my purple and not too much purple in my blue. Okay, now I take my last piece of paper towel and I completely blend my blue. Making sure I get against that masking tape. Making sure all of my areas are dark. Making sure you get around those edges of that moon so we can have a perfectly circular moon. Making sure we get in our corners and our crevices. Again, to make sure the frame of our picture is exactly how we want it. Okay. All right. Now that I've got that done, I'm going to use my white pastel color to just kind of lightly scribble there in the blue. I'm going to lightly scribble it. This is going to kind of give it a little bit of a cloud effect, so it's not such a deep blue. It'll give it more of a night cloud blue. Just going to lightly go over that. All right. And you can take your blue paper towel and kind of blend that in. All right. Gave it a nice cloudy blue. That's pretty. All right, guys. So now that we've got that part done, let's go ahead and use our stencil. So again, I'm not going to use this entire stencil. I'm just going to use half of it. And that's only because I want the branches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this stencil exactly how I want it here on my canvas. Okay. And then I will use one of my graphite pencils, whichever you desire. If you have a stencil that has very thin lines, you might want to use the 8B graphite pencil, or if you have a stencil that has very wide lines, you can also go for your 10B pencil. Okay, so I'm just gonna start here and kind of trace over my stencil. And again, guys, I like my colors dark, so I put a lot of pressure on my canvas when I'm using my colors. If you want lighter colors, just, you don't have to use a lot of pressure. All right. And you just color that in. And if you guys have a, like I said, if you guys have a stencil that has broader or wider lines, you can also use your pastel color if need be, if you want it a lot darker. All right, so I'm just gonna use this, guys. And again, I'm not gonna use the leaves. I just want a couple of branches off of here. You know, you can choose your own stencil, whatever kind you like. All right. Just gonna get a couple of branches off of here, guys, and then we'll move on. All right. And again, guys, this can be a very messy project, but messy is always fun, of course. All right. So I think I've got the tree I wanted. All right. Okay. So now that I'm done with my tree, I think I've got it as dark as I want it to be. Okay. Now I can remove my stencil. And like I said, if you want darker colors or you need to have darker colors, you can go over it however you'd like, however you prefer it to be. That's up to you. I'm just going to go in a little darker, guys. Kind of fill in my blanks here. All right. So I've got my tree. I've got everything I need with my tree. All right. So now I get to pull up my masking tape to reveal my beautiful moon. And you can just gently peel that up. All right. Moon has been revealed, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so what I'm gonna do before I blend my moon is I'm gonna go and I'm gonna color my moon in with the white pastel. Again, this will give it more of a glowy look, like a moonlight glow. And you can make that glow go as far as you'd like it to go. All right. Now this is where I use my handy dandy blending tool. It's gonna blend the fine lines of my moon and make it disappear. Make my lines disappear. Okay, give it that moonlight glow. And you'll just gently, circular motion, kind of go around that moon and get those lines to disappear a little bit. Like I said, that white is to kind of give it a moonlight glow. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are finished. So now we get to pull up our masking tape. All right. And there we have our finished product.
Very nice.
So one of the things that I don't have it with me right now, but there are different ways you can display these photos. You can either put it behind glass to keep the oil pastel from smearing. Glass frame works really fine, and the canvas panels are thin enough to fit in regular picture frames. But you can also use a fixative. A fixative is like a fine coating, and it just keeps the pastel from smudging, and it also keeps the dust in the canvas, the dust from the canvas, and keeps it from yellowing. That's if you want to display your art around the house, or if you want to send your art as a gift to a family member or anything. But that concludes our activity, guys.
Well, does anybody have any questions for Dee about her artwork? So do you have a particular place where you get your tools?
No, I'm not really a particular person. Like I said, with the canvas panels, depending on what type of art you're doing is what when you want to look at specifics. So with paint, with paint, 100% cotton panels may not be the best thing to use. But with pastel colors and things like that, these are the best things to use because they're 100% cotton and they kind of absorb the wax other than, it kind of just rolling off. The pastel colors I get from Crayola, regular brand. I'm not really specific in brands either, pastel colors are pastel colors. Stencils of choice, there are a million stencils that you can use, different designs, different variations that you can use. Doesn't matter. They come in all different sizes and shapes. You got animals and flowers. And the graphite pencils, like I said, those are only specific depending on what stencil you're using or what you're exactly trying to do, and those are just different by centimeters and how thick and thin they are. So that's it. It's nothing specific.
Do you buy your products at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or where?
Yes, I honestly I shop all over. I do Hobby Lobby, I do Michael's, I do Joann's, I do Walmart, Amazon. I mean, there's, like I said, nothing in specific as far wise as the brand, but more of kind of making sure that, like it's 100% cotton or something like that. But no, I don't have a particular brand or a particular place that I shop for these items.
Now, it looks like a marker, but it's not a marker line. Is that a pencil color?
Are you talking about this?
Yes.
It's like a crayon. It looks more like a crayon. And it's just, I want to say that it's a tad bit more dense than a regular crayon.
Okay. Because the colors are so pretty.
Yeah, and like I said, you can use lighter colors. Like if you notice on this panel, My blue and my purple is a tad bit lighter than what it is on this panel.
And how do you make that a little lighter?
So it normally depends on the type of pressure that you're putting on that pastel when you're coloring it in. So if you want a lighter color, you just put a little bit of pressure on there. But if you want a darker color, you kind of put a little bit more pressure on it.
Okay. I don't know if Miss Barbara would be interested in any of this, but it looks fun to do.
Yeah, and a lot of my residents that I engage in these activities with, some of them, when you present a name to them, or they see something and they're not used to it, they kind of shy away from it and turn it down. But a lot of my residents were very excited, and I think it was because they saw the difficult part as the stencil. They saw it as I was just kind of drawing it out myself, not having something to trace, and they're like, oh, well, I can't do that. I can't draw that, But when I showed them that I just, traced over it, and they were like, oh, well, I can do that. And they were very excited to trace over these items and scribble on, some canvases.
That might be something that we will try to do later on, because that looks really fun.
And I would also say, if you just want to keep it simple, you can always, you don't have to use the stencils. You can always just blend your colors together to make a perfectly blended picture. Yeah. You don't have to use stencils or anything. You can just kind of blend those colors in, use their favorite colors and blend those colors in, and you'll have a nice, pretty picture.
Yeah. What do you think, Miss Barbara? Isn't that pretty? Yeah, it is pretty. Yes.
And then I also found out that you can also use the masking tape as sort of kind of like a design room. If you want to take this masking tape and kind of just place it over your canvas as like a zigzag or something, and have her color around it. That'll work too. It's that works perfectly fine.
Yeah. So kind of to do like a geometric shapes, stained glass, which would kind of simplify the activity.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
So there was a lot of different ways you can go with this, and like I said, I had a few residents who were intimidated by it at first, but once I showed them that there's different ways you can do it. You don't have to do it like this. We're not artists, and they were like, well, okay, let's give it a try.
Well, that looks fun. We might, when I'm out one day, I'm gonna look around and see if I can find us a little project to do.
Well,
because I like the color.
You also could probably order the supplies on Amazon.
Yeah.
And just have them delivered to the door, and then you wouldn't even have to get out.
Yeah.
Right. You're right. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Dee, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. I think we all learned something new today.
Yeah.
And it like you said, it can look intimidating, but it also is simplified enough that I think anybody could give that a try.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely exciting to kind of put those ideas out there, and to, show people that, it doesn't always, it's not always what it looks like,
Right.
We think of it as challenging and hard, but it's not always like that. And sometimes we just have to get out there and try it, just to, to show our strengths.
Right.
I can tell you guys, I'm not much of an artist at all. I am not much of an artist at all. But learning this activity and doing this activity, I kind of feel like I'm one of the big artists now.
So you seem like a pro.
Oh no, I only started this about 2 weeks ago, and I've been just kind of practicing, and I finally got it down packed.
Oh, good.
So did you watch a video or something to learn how to do it?
Yes, I actually came across a video, and theirs, of course, looked a lot more complicated and more detailed. But once I did a little bit more research, I came up on a lot of different ways and a lot of different things that it could be done. So I went in and I explored those different things, and I presented them to my residents, and I was like, hey, let's show everybody what we came up with. And
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you again so much, Dee, for being with us today. And I also would like to tell everyone that on Monday, because of the holiday, we will not have a live session, but you do have the opportunity to view some of the sessions that we've done previously through the recordings. And if you'll open your chat box down at the bottom of your screen, I shared with you the link where you can go to see the recording of other sessions that we've done. And you can view those at any time.
Okay.
And also in that same list, you will find links to our dementia-friendly chapel services. And you can view those as well there. So y'all have a wonderful rest of your day and a nice Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Great day. Bye, Barbara.
bye.
Sarah. Bye, Dee. Have a great day.
Y'all too.
You too.